Hello there. Welcome and thank you for being here today. And what we're going to talk about today is one of the crucial steps, something that you all have been looking for. And this is about our 3 top ways to find leads for sellers. Okay, so there are a lot of ways to find leads, but these are the 3 top ones. And this is something that I have been doing ongoing for the last 25, 30 years. So, and they're always the good ones that work with, no matter what. So the number 1 is absentee owners that have been owning a property for at least, I would say, 10 years. Now, if you don't find enough absentee owner in your area, or the choice that we went by over yesterday, there are 10 years, you can drop it down to 7 years, but not less than 5. Also, you're going to find, and it depends on your area if you do have enough inventory, but you're going to find that the owners, absentee owners of properties that are over, not single family, they're 2 units or 4 units, which are still residential, are going to be much more motivated to sell than single family absentee owner. And the reason being that the 2 units or 4 units tend to be more rentals. And also, these are the property that, especially the 4 units, tend to give a little more of an issue to sellers, to owners, that they get tired of the tenants because, you know, the quality of the tenants might not be as good. A lot of times, the larger the property, the more transient the tenants are, instead of living in a property for a long time like a house. So with that said, there is definitely a market of buyers for these properties. Actually, one of my favorite end buyers have always been landlords, because they buy property based on numbers. They buy the property based on, doesn't make sense. They're not really picky about the color of the tiles or the kitchen cabinets or so forth. As long as the property is nice, it makes money, passes inspection, that's what they care about, okay? So absentee owners, 7 to 10 years or more, that have owned the property. Now, if you also can add the criteria in there of having at least being over 60 years of age, even better. Okay, so the older ones. How do you find this list? Well, one of the things is we use PropStream, the one I've used for many, many years. And this one here, the only difficulty with this is that you have to be very area specific, because they sell you the data based on the area. So with PropStream, we go in, and we use PropStream personally. We can make a search anywhere in the country, boom, it gives the list right there and then. With Haines directory, Haines, you have to buy by zip codes, but their data is really good. Okay, they'll give you, it's a crisscross directory, give information on the owner, their phone numbers, and so forth, but you can't just randomly choose the area, you just have to do it. Or now I think they amplify to actually you can buy lists in different zip codes, but they're quite more expensive than PropStream. The second source for us that's always a go-to, has always been, is Driving for Dollars. There is no substitution for that, for Driving for Dollars. I still do it to this day, especially when I'm looking for properties to fix and flip. Like right now, we are in beautiful Cape Coral. You know, my daughter lives here, and I'm here actually doing a fix and flip and looking for more. Okay, so I spend a few days here, drive around the neighborhood, pick up, I also look for land, vacant lots. I look for properties that need work, seems like they're in a distressed situation, and you know, stop and talk with people. So to be out there in the field and looking in person for properties is definitely something that will give you immediate results, you know. So there are people like me that we do fix and flip, and I'm going to wholesale some of them. If there's too much work or something I don't really particularly want to get into, I'm going to wholesale it. So, but for me to be out there in the field and getting that immediate feedback of doing this is very important. Now, as far as the virtual side, because you say, okay, well, how can I do virtual Driving for Dollars? Deal Machine, which is another app, actually came up back in December with a special extension of Chrome where you can do virtual Driving for Dollars. They're connected with Google Maps. So as a lot of you know, maybe Google Maps doesn't update as much as it should, as every 1 to 3 years. I did actually a training for my students on how to use this integration. But the concept behind it is that if something was vacant 1-2 years ago, even from the last time the Google Maps was updated, it's probably the odds of and it doesn't show there has been a sale since then. The odds is probably still in the same shape. They're pretty good, right? So that's the concept behind, even if Google Maps is not updated. But Deal Machine actually came up with a Google Chrome extension. I have tried it, and it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. So that's another thing if you want to do virtual driving for dollars, so check into that. Now, the third thing that is something that is more of instant feedback and gratification as far as finding a property is for sale by owners and for rent, okay? Like, for example, the area where I am right now, where we own this property, there are a lot of also vacation rentals. So to be able to call some of these people that have been landlords for a long time and say, would you be considering selling a property? It's always give us a good response. So checking out for rents, and simply calling somebody and saying, hey, I see that you have your house for rent, but would you also consider selling now or in the future? It gets a conversation. The reason we ask now or in the future is because in the future could become a lease option to buy, right? So if I say, well, yeah, no, I'm not ready to sell right now, but in a couple of years I might consider it. So say, well, would you rent it to me now? And then I buy for you in 2 years, right? And then you can get into like Airbnb arbitrage. There is a lot going on here, Airbnb arbitrage, where basically you sublease a property to somebody else, which is a glorified vacation rental lease option to buy situation, right? But honestly, that's how I started my buying rental portfolio back almost 30 years ago. I started calling for rents, landlords, and asking them, would you be willing to go ahead and sell your property in the future, or now even? And by doing this simple strategy, within 18 months, I actually had 16 rental properties, anywhere from a single family to an 8-unit building. But that was just calling landlords that were trying to rent their property and say, hey, I see you have your house or your apartment for rent, and I was wondering, would you be considering selling it either now or in the near future? And I got the conversation going, and out of that I was able to actually build a rental portfolio beside doing wholesaling. And so the other thing is for sale by owner. Obviously they already want to sell, right? So you don't have to worry about the resistance of them saying, why you're calling me out of the blue? No, they already want to sell. So again, you get the conversation going. Even if you cannot make a huge profit on a for sale by owner because they're probably pricing, close to top of the market, but you can also talk them down a little bit and then do an assignment. We talk about marketing. I'm going to explain more how to do some of the marketing that processes, and a lot of people don't know, because I know a lot of you will say, okay, well, if he's trying to sell it for sale by owner and he's not selling it, what makes me think that I can sell it? Because you know something that they don't, right? When I wholesale properties out of the MLS, which I still do to this day, people ask me all the time, this property was on the market for a year on the MLS. How are you able to wholesale? Obviously, you wasn't able to wholesale it on the MLS. It's because I do something that they're not doing. I have a marketing process that they don't have. You just have to be 2 steps ahead of them to be able to do something very different than them, right? So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. That is, not everybody is clever in marketing. Not everybody wants to be in real estate. People are saying all the time, why would they let the property go? They didn't even have a mortgage on it, and they let it go for back taxes. It's because not everybody wants to be in real estate, believe it or not. You do, I do, but a lot of people out there look at real estate as a burden, okay? I know, how, I don't know. But those are the 3 strategies I suggest you do. These are if somebody comes to me and say to me today, I want to go ahead, I need to make a deal in the next month. right? Or I'm gonna end up homeless, I'm gonna get evicted or whatever situation might be. I would suggest these three I just mentioned. Look for absentee owners, and especially the people that have owned, anywhere from a single family to a 4-unit building for at least 10 years. And also, even if you can get the criteria of age, which you can get in the Hines directory, not on PropStream. The second thing is driving for dollars. Get out there in the field and look for properties, or do a virtual driving for dollars. See if you want to do this business virtually. Great way to find properties right away. And the third one is called the low-hanging fruit, which is for sale by owners and for rent. And you can get two things going here. You can get some rentals and some deals to wholesale. But these are three ways to find properties. So, and I want you to do it today, okay? Even if you have to go on Craigslist or Zillow or one of those for sale by owner sites, go today. Start making those calls. Okay, test it out. See how that works for you. And also go ahead and pull that list. Start doing it today. And so hopefully this was helpful, and I know you can do it. Take care.